Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer, welcome back to European Truck Simulator, and welcome back to Barcelona. So, just came in and repaired the truck, and we only had 1% damage, just regular road damage. So let's get this going. We don't need to sleep for 8 hours. So let's find a job going up the Mediterranean coast. And we want to go around the bend there. We want to head northeast and then down into Italy. So right off the bat, I see something going to Nice. That could be perfect. Marseille, not bad. It's an interesting trailer. Lyon, kind of the wrong way. Bordeaux, definitely the wrong way. Nice, also Nice. 20 tons, that's interesting. Genève, and then these are all going kind of the wrong way. Marseille. Let's stick to the coast. Let's go to Nice. Let's take... Pays the best. Let's take these forklifts to Nice. And 19 hours, so that gives us plenty of time to get there. Looks like it's right in town. 12 kilometers. Perfect. I don't have the face tracking on. And it is looking a little cloudy, so we're going to turn those on, and we want to go out of here and to the right. I think we'll be okay on fuel. We can stop somewhere on the way and get some. So the reason I don't have the face tracking on is, and if you're watching a lot of my videos, you may hear the same things more than once, which I'm not, I hate repeating myself, so I don't like the idea that you would hear me say the same thing twice. If you're watching all of my videos, pardon me, if you're watching all of my videos, you'll hear the same thing twice. If you're only watching one, that's why I'm saying it, because you may only be, right? You may only be watching one series. So if you didn't see the American Truck Sim video, then I'll say it here in the Euro Truck video, and that is I'm really not sleeping well. And it's kind of hard for me to get comfortable right now. Oh dear. I feel like we want to stay over here. We got a little spaghetti bowl going. Yep. We guessed right. Yep. Okay, cool. That was a lot less painful than I thought it would be. I slept about 2 hours last night, and I slept like 2 hours the night before, so I'm kind of uncomfortable. Not really antsy, but just sort of uncomfortable. And I didn't feel like sitting perfectly still the way I have to. Wow, that wall is like right next to the highway. Oh man. I didn't feel like sitting as still as I need to sit when I'm running the face tracking, the eye tracking. So we're just going to go old school and kind of hope for the best. So I did an ATS video. This is the sort of the rhythm that I've gotten myself into. I typically knock out on one day. I do an ATS video, then a train video, Train Sim World, and then an ETS video. Put those all into render and then get on with the rest of my day, because it takes three videos between, I don't know, 40 and 60 minutes each. Takes a few hours to render, and then once all those are done, I start uploading them. But in the meantime, I put them all into render, and then I do other stuff. And then the next day, the off day, the odd day, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call it, then on that day, I do a farm video and a racing video. And that's sort of the rhythm that I've gotten into. Sorry. Focusing. Focusing. That's the rhythm I've gotten into, and so I record 3 videos kind of back to back to back. Not to get them out of the way. It's not quite like that. But it is, wow. These cities, man. I feel like I need to qualify this every time and say I'm not like bashing them in any way, but I'm running internal HDD, internal SSD, external SSD, and the lights for all of them are just, it's like a rave, man. All the lights are just going and going and going. So we are definitely pulling a ton of stuff off the hard drives right now. Really? Huh. Let's see. Okay. No damage. Over here? This one? What the hell? How? Okay. You know, I'm not the best fake truck driver, but I thought I was better than that. Anyway, as I was saying, okay. There was a speed bump. No, it was railroad tracks. And it looked like we did a stoppie right there. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this area has some pretty aggressive terrain. Anyway, seeing all those lights just flashing away, I know we're really loading some scenery, man. Now, I say that all the time. Sounds like an excuse. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Right. All right. And then we just pulled over into the weeds. Interesting. Okay. Hey folks, you know what? We can say we went to Barcelona and then we can leave. All right, so we get a little variety here. What do you think? I'm liking, I know this is kind of base game, but I'm liking the look of this one with the third forklift. Third? Yeah, the third one up on the Dilio. Right. And I am going third person because I'm a little bit cranky with Barcelona at the moment. We haven't taken any damage, but this is can't say something nice. I'll say anything. So I ain't saying nothing. It's certainly different. It's very novel. It's very unique. There you go. There's a bunch of nice things that I can say. Right. Let's do this. And I have a feeling with that space behind the trailer there, I have a feeling that we were sort of supposed to do that, if that makes sense. Right. So let's swing wide. Okay, here we go. This is where the healing starts. And do we... Nope. And since I feel like the city's trying to burn me, I'm driving extra careful. I knew Bilbao was tight. I didn't think Barcelona was that tight, but I'm feeling like it might be. And I can see some traffic circles and some shenanigans that we're going to need to do right up there, top of the mini-map. So I'm going to get us through all that without hooking the trailer. I'm like extra super duper mindful that we don't, because I just hooked it, well, allegedly I just hooked it a minute ago. We didn't even have a trailer on. I just hooked this little 4x2, and if that's how I'm getting down before we've even got a trailer on, then I'm not super optimistic I'm going to be able to pull this off. But if I am going to be able to, I'm going to need to concentrate. So let me get my wits about me. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting for me to see other people play this game and see how well they play it. Now, to be fair, you know, the cream rises to the top, right? So if you're seeing somebody making YouTube videos of a sim, you have to think their gameplay is going to be pretty solid. I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff on YouTube. I've seen videos of people that just like point their iPhone at their monitor. There's those railroad tracks again. Yeah, see, that's ridiculous. Dear Barcelona, your level crossings are ridiculous. I've seen people just literally point their iPhone at their monitor as they're playing a game, and then post it to YouTube and be like, live gameplay of, you know, whatever. So there are obviously some people that I would have to say don't seem to be taking it very seriously. But for the most part, if you're posting gameplay videos on YouTube, you tend to be kind of a serious player. Nervous, cautious, nervous. Oh shit, to the left? Are you kidding me? Yeah, this is excessively tight, is it not? I'm not imagining this. This is like... This is tighter than regular. So if you're posting YouTube videos, it seems that most people that do that are pretty serious about their gameplay. So those are the people that I'm emulating. Those are the people that I'm looking at thinking, yeah, man, that's how smooth I want to be. That's how flawless I want to be. So it's super frustrating to know that, like, coming in here, you know, we hooked that curve. Now, and when we went over those railroad tracks, made me think, like, okay, maybe the city is, like I said, it's designed to be kind of devious. So until you know that you need to do this or you need to do that when you're in Barcelona, it's going to be, you know, it's going to get you. And I also don't know, when I'm watching those YouTube videos of those Zen masters. I don't know how many takes it took them to get that right. But I do know that I am intentionally leaving in the fail. Because I think it is as important for me to play well as it is to, on some level, also show that I'm improving, if that makes sense. That 3 months or 6 months from now, loading, come on. I just want to get out of Barcelona. That 3 months or 6 months from now, I'll be able to look at my gameplay and say, oh yeah, I have improved. And to know that the reason that I've improved is because I've sort of put it out there, right? I know we are massively speeding. I'm just trying to get out of this town. There we go. Mo better. Now we gotta do some getting over. To know that the reason the gameplay has improved is because I've put myself out there and sort of, challenged myself. Like, I don't want to play badly while anybody's looking. Okay, well, if you don't want to play badly while anybody's looking, then don't play badly. Play better. Drive better, be better. So I guess that's the takeaway. Am I even making sense? I told you, I've slept like 4 hours in 3 days. You get what I'm saying. I know you do. So you get me. Yeah. So I'll leave it in. And it's embarrassing. It's always embarrassing to not be perfect. And, I hear people tell me, because I am a perfectionist and I'm super hard on myself. And I have people tell me, I hear people tell me, oh, don't be so hard on yourself. And I think, no, I'll continue being hard on myself. That's how I do it. And I don't do it. I know some people that are. Now I gotta play like amateur brain doctor. I know some people that are perfectionists, but it seems like they don't want to be perfect. They just want to beat themselves up. That's not me. I really want to do things as well as I can. And I mean, that's true even when nobody's looking. It's not just an audience thing or just a YouTube thing. I always want to be good at what I do. I always want to be as good, not as good as I can be, but I want to do it as well as it can be done. And there's an old, what is it, like an axiom, an aphorism? That's one of those things. In management, when you talk about like continuous improvement and various management schools and ways of doing things and ways of doing things well in a business context, one of the things that you'll hear from time to time as an axiom is, at the Olympics, everybody's looking to break the world record. But how fast would people run if they didn't know what the world record was? And there are two schools of thought on that. And one says that you need the record to give people something to shoot for. That if there was no record, or if people didn't know what the record was for a given distance, running a given distance, they would just run as fast as they could, and however fast they ran, they'd say, there's your world record. So one school of thought is we need a world record to give people something to shoot for and exceed. And then the other school of thought is those records actually hold us back, because instead of giving us something to exceed, they give us artificial goals, which is another way of saying, what would you be capable of if you truly believed that nothing was impossible? So when I say I don't just want to be as good as I can be, I want to do things as well as they can be done, I feel like that challenges me to be better than I'm capable of being. And I know we're talking about driving fake trucks in a video game, and that's kind of a like a mundane platform for something as sort of sweeping as, you know, being the best possible individual, the best possible human being that I can possibly be. But the thing about continuous improvement, and the thing about being your true self, or actualizing yourself, or any of the other ways that we say, you know, that we're growing and evolving, is I mean, there's no right or wrong place to be exceptional, and there's no good place to cut corners. And if you start cutting corners here and there, next thing you know, you're doing it everywhere. So I guess what I'm saying is I do like to have the example, you know, the YouTubers that I see, the example of how good they are. I'm going to set the cruise control here because we just keep speeding, and I'm not intending to. It could be because this cargo is fairly light. Let's get over. Get out of the hammer lane. Or maybe not, because it looks like we're about to get an exit here that we don't want. Yep. We'll stay in this lane. So yeah, I mean, that's the best way that I can say it. I don't want to be the best virtual fake truck driver that I can be. I just want to be the best virtual fake truck driver. It's possible that I should have stopped there for fuel, but I think we've got a decent amount. I don't think we're going to run out. Let's see? Just keep hooking those curbs. Whoa. And I think I'll have to check on the replay, but I think I actually saw the texture for those little curb blocks load. All right. I have, you know, I'm on a laptop, but this thing has so many slots. I can run an M2 SSD alongside 2.5 SATA SSD, and I'm on DDR4 RAM right now. I'm on an i7 chip, so I think I max out at DDR4. I think DDR5 is only for the i8 chip. Is that correct? But I think I can get some faster RAM in there. Get some Ripjaws or some Corsair or something. And just try to speed this up. And I do feel like it's a small thing, you know, to have that little stutter, that little skip when we're going from one tile to the next. Now that's supposed to be, that's a thing of the past. From what I read, 1.31 is loading scenery. 1.31 in both ATS and ETS2. Scenery is going to load in a different way, and it's supposed to be faster and better. So I wouldn't mind, you know, getting off that tile system. I can really feel it, and I'll take a look on the review. But it certainly seems to me that that we've got some issues right now. So I need to find a way to load scenery faster. And now the funny thing is, if we do all those things, it's going to be awesome for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden it's going to be, you know, now we need to go to the next level, and the next level, and the next level, which sort of ties in with what we were talking about a minute ago, which is constantly trying to improve yourself, constantly trying to make things better. And it's, you know, I'm thinking about the overall quality of these videos, and that is, there's a lot of components to it. One is my gameplay, and that's something I can impact directly by how well I play. But the other thing is the quality of the videos themselves, and I can have a direct impact on that by how well I design my system. And things like faster RAM, you know, and even, I mean, when it comes to SSD, you know, I think about the speeds, and there's a speed that, you know, the pipe in and the pipe out is a factor as well. I can get like some theoretical, you know, prototype SSD that loads at a gig per second or whatever. But if I don't have the bus to support it, to plug it into, then I'm not going to run at that speed. So I guess what I'm saying is, I need to look around and find the fastest SSD and the fastest. I want to get something faster in that M2 slot. So anyway, I'm just kind of riffing about continuous improvement right now. But yeah, man, we're coming up on episode 100, and that's going to be kind of a big deal because we're going to do a review. Me and my folks here on this end, we're going to do a review, compare video 1 to video 100. I know there's going to be an improvement. I really hope there is. Pardon me. It'd be terrible if there wasn't. But we want to specifically address what improved, how, why, and what we can continue to improve. And when I say we, I mean me. They find the flaws, and then it's up to me to fix them. And we're going to knock out another 100, which is also kind of weird to say because these go between, I don't know, like I said, 40 to 60 minutes. But they take 2 or 3 hours total. Now that's not all, you know, sitting here at the desk slaving away. Some of it is taking a file and dropping it in the editing software and letting it start cooking. But altogether, it's probably 2x or 3x as far as intervention versus finished product. So for, as an example, let's say for 1 hour of finished video, I'd say it's between 2 and 3 hours of doing stuff, me doing something between recording it, editing it, posting it, everything. So when I think about 100 videos, and they're not all a full hour, so okay, so we'll calculate it that way, and we'll take out 25% to give an average of 45 minutes. So 100 videos in an hour times 3. On the outside, that's 300 hours plus 25%, because they're not all an hour, we'll say 45 minutes. Deedly-doo. Talking about 225 hours. And that's one of those sort of weird numbers. I think I'm supposed to get off here. No. No, I am not. It's one of those weird numbers that you think about. 225 hours. If you had a judge tell you, you need to do 225 hours of community service, you'd be like, oh man, that's forever, that's crazy. It's going to take me months to do that. I mean, even if I go 3 hours a day, that's still like 2.5 months. Oh, Your Honor. And then the judge would be like, overruled. And they'd smack the gavel, whatever, you know. So even though this is something that I love, it's still interesting to look back and think, wow, man, 200 hours. It's an estimate, but it's a good estimate. 200 hours. Wow, man, that's a lot of time. And that's to get to the first 100. Just so we can review, so we can decide what we want to do with the next 100. So I feel like we've passed this same trailer twice. Or the same trailer keeps spawning in this area. Keep my eye on you. So you get what I'm saying. And it is also, it's fascinating to me that with all the stuff we have running, we have like 70, 80 mods running right now, including ProMods. And a graphics mod. We're running Reshade in here too. We're at between 50 and 60 FPS with everything cranked up. High, not ultra. In ATS, with no map mod and no graphics mod, and yeah, I believe we are running Jazzy Cats. We have a lower FPS. I'm really curious why that would be. I guess I could pull my logs and look at them. And we are, as far as I know, we're running in DirectX 9 in ETS. God, I just keep speeding. We're running DirectX 9 in ETS. And I'm deliberately launching ATS in DirectX 9 lately to see if we can get a better render. Curious. Technology, man. You know, one of my favorite things about computers and technology, it's like my favorite thing is also my least favorite thing, and that is if something's not working, if something goes wrong, it's always your fault. It's always something that you didn't do, or something that you did wrong, or something that you forgot, something that you didn't check. Very rarely it'll be somebody else's fault, right? I've seen some Farming Simulator. I believe the current patch is like 1.5.3.1, and the reason it's .3.1 is because .3.0 caused some problems. So they put out a big patch, like 1.5 gig or whatever. And then like 3 hours later, they put out another one. And what happened was, I mean, you know what happened. They released the patch, and like as soon as it went live, they started getting bug reports or crash reports. And they realized like they screwed up. They got it wrong. So they had to put another one out right away. So in that case, you get the patch, the first one, you install it, your game keeps crashing. So, you're sort of banging your head like, well, what, it's messed up, it must be my fault. Yes and no. It's messed up, it's somebody's fault, it's not your fault. But what I'm saying is it's very rarely, very, very, very rarely in computers and technology is something just broken or wrong. And when that is the case, it's typically very clear. Something like a bad drive, or a bad radio card, or a bad whatever. It's fairly apparent fairly quickly that a piece of hardware needs to be replaced. But other than that, if something's not working, it's on you. And if you're the kind of person that likes to pull technology apart, both the hardware side and the software side, fix things, then it's definitely on you, because if you look hard enough, you'll find the problem and you'll fix it. And I say that compared to somebody that when their technology stops working, they just put it in the truck and take it to the repair shop. Take it down to Geek Squad or your local computer repair shop, and you give it to them, say this is broken, fix it, and then they do. But for people that fix their own technology and sort their own problems out, it's a weird thing. It's just on you, and you just need to kind of solve the problem. Sometimes it's a quick fix. Sometimes it's a fix that takes a while, but it's really methodical, and you just work through from one end to the other. And sometimes it's just a nightmare of like trial and error and false starts, and you think you got it, but you didn't, and or you fix one problem and that causes 3 others, and then you have to go back and fix those, and just so yeah, it's kind of a long-winded way of saying I want my files to load faster. I want to, and it's a dumb thing to say, I want to eliminate all lag and FPS drops. Well, yeah, no shit, everybody wants to do that. But I feel like, it might not ever be perfect. It might not ever be exactly the way I want it to be. But I feel like it can be better than it is now, and I feel like the 2 ways to get there are to swap everything over to SSD, to make sure that the SSD drives that I'm running are faster. Now, just as I came over here to go through the right lane, like I normally do, I saw a truck go through the fast pass lane on the left. So at the next toll booth, we'll stay to the left and see if we can save some time. So yeah, that's my next goal. Bump up the SSDs, bump up the speed, bump up the capacity. Pardon me. Bump up the capacity, and also let's get some faster RAM in there. And I think I can do that all for a few $100, because the alternative is, on my list is another HP Omen laptop. Man, I swear by HP. I understand that they're, that HP and Dell and Asus and all the big, they're not really manufacturers. They subcontract out all their manufacturing. But all the big computers, the big computer companies on the PC side. I understand they're sort of all the same. But I've always had good luck with HP, and I've really not had the best luck with companies other than HP. And what's funny is people will tell me exactly the opposite. They'll say, oh, I've had 3 HPs, they all suck. But I got a Dell, and it's awesome. And so I get Dell all the time now, and they're all awesome. And I don't doubt that what they're saying is true. Is that my first yawn? I think it might be. I don't doubt what they're saying is true. I don't think they're like, telling me a story or something. That's for them, that's been their experience. But for me, HP has always treated me right. And honestly, I can't afford Alienware. I would love to get a custom system. I just can't afford it. So HP and the Omen series, it's a perfect compromise for me. They're affordable, good performance, good support. I'm not trying to trade emails with some shady guy on the edge of town that built me a system. Although, for that, I could build my own system if I were going to do that. I couldn't, well, I take that back. I could build my own desktop, but I can't rock a desktop. I'm a portable gamer, not a permanent gamer. So I couldn't rock a desktop. I'd have to go laptop, and you really can't build your own laptop, not like a desktop. You can tell somebody else how you want them to build your laptop, which is kind of where I was heading with that, because my next laptop is going to be another HP Omen. But they do have some options on their website, and I think I'll be able to stay to the left this time and see if we can fast pass. But we can bump up to like 4K, and we can bump up to 1080 GPU. Should have stopped back there to sleep. Should have stopped here to sleep. Right. Okay. Next place to sleep, we have to pull over and sleep. But that's next on the list. I always get dinged at toll plazas. No, not always. It's way too strong a word. I very often get dinged at toll plazas. Pulling away from the deal there. When traffic is sort of crisscrossing, I tend to have cars come in at me from the right side. Not that time. So that would be the next thing, and that system. I mean, I've already got it laid out, you know, how I want it, and essentially you just go on the website and max out everything, and call it good. So it would be, you know, like 2 terabyte SSD, well, multiple SSD drives taking you up over a terabyte, 2 terabytes of storage, and like 64 gig of very fast RAM and the 1080 GPU and etc. etc. It'd just be a monster, be a total weapon. But like I said, then you know you get that system, and everything's fine for like 3 weeks. It's just, oh, it's amazing, it does all these things, and then you start noticing the problems, and they're not really problems. They're just things that you want to be better, and that's how you end up with a custom Alienware system. Is you just keep sort of pushing the limits of what you want your system to do. But I don't know that it's ever, you know, that it's ever possible for it to be perfect, which is sort of the whole thing about continuous improvement. Is no, it's never good enough. You're always looking to make things better, whether it's in your own life, your health, your fitness, whatever. Always looking to make it better. Right, I'm thinking of all the places that I should have pulled over to sleep. And as always, we're going to be finishing in the dark. So it goes. But yeah, I'm curious. This is not. I know a lot of people say this is not an eye candy game, and what they mean by that is it's not like Ubisoft eye candy, but it's a pretty game. It's fairly graphics intensive, but not. There are plenty of games that are much more graphic intensive. Here we go. This one is not. It's not the worst. So I'm curious if I did get, let's say I got that other HP Omen laptop with the 64 gig of RAM and the this and the that, you know, and the diddly-doo, and then you just max out everything as far as graphics settings in game. Just literally max everything. Everything is on ultra. Everything. I wonder how that would perform. You know, would it be essentially the same? 60 in the country, 30 in the city, with occasional drops to 20. Is that just the nature of how systems are built now, that, you know, benchmarking and what's it called? Future-proofing systems. You know, trying to anticipate what game makers are going to do, what direction they're going to go in, to know that if you build a laptop that's going to retail for, I think that one set up the way I want it, I want to say it's about $3,000 US, which is, it's a lot. It's also not a lot. But how future-proof is that? Is that going to hold up for a year? Is it going to hold up for 3 years? You know, probably not. Probably not 3 years. But let's hope for at least a year. Take a look outside. I always like to do this. Right. couple minutes left to. I just disengaged. A couple minutes left to drop off. Not far at all. And I don't know if I've been to Nice on this profile. Maybe. Find out when we get there. But you get what I'm saying. There are times I'm very happy with my render and my FPS. There are times I'm very frustrated with my render and my FPS. And I have to remind myself, man, it would always be like that. You know, you could go 16 core, liquid cooled, deedly doot. You could get the greatest system that has ever existed, but there will be a game, well, there probably is a game already. If you max it out, it's gonna tank your FPS. And then on top of that, even if there isn't a game that right now that'll do that, give it 6 months, give it a year, and there will be. So, man, I cannot stop speeding today. What's going on? Let me slow down a little bit. Right? So I know you know what I'm talking about. And I know you know the feeling of firing up a new system and seeing how well it handles all the problems that your last system didn't handle well. And just being so in love with it. Oh, it's so awesome, so perfect. Look at it. Just look at it. And then, like I said, for me it's typically 4 to 6 weeks later. I start thinking, oh, what if I did this? What if I did this? Oh, I know. How about I put this over here? And just all the things we do to continually try to make our systems perform. And that sort of, it's not game, but you know that cycle you get into with developers where you get a system, well, future-proofing, I was just talked about it. You get a system that can handle everything you've got right now and what you anticipate in the near future. But then the developers on their side, you know, when you compile data at a show like E3 or Twitch or whatever, you know, you've got the game developers there asking people, well, what kind of system are you running? You know, and they're getting crash reports when they test, and all those crash reports have all the specs for your system in them, right? So the game developers can see, not you personally, not like a stalker, but you know, they can look at the crash reports for a game as they come in, and see, you know, who's running what, and know, like, if everybody is just crushing their system, then that tells them as developers, hey, you know what, we can add more stuff to this game, we can add more stuff to this sim, because people have systems that can handle it, right? So then they bump up the game, and now it's on you again as a consumer to upgrade your system to deal with all these games that, and it's just, you know, each side is kind of pushing the other. It's just not, it's not good or bad. It's just a fact. So I'm still totally stoked. I've had this system for 6 weeks, and I am, of course I can see things that I want to improve about it, but I will always be able to see things I want to improve. But for the most part, I am absolutely 100% stoked. And I have kind of a list of things. I get a new computer probably once a year, and I have, at any given moment, I have many. So I always have like one new one that's in the middle, and one that's ready to be replaced. But I get new systems often enough that I have kind of a ritual that I do where I go in and pull off all the bloatware and all the crap that Microsoft loads onto PCs, and disable a lot of things, and you know, power settings and graphics settings, and I mean graphic settings, things like font smoothing and and just a lot of things that you can do to speed up a system and really unload the CPU and GPU. And I feel like that, no, I haven't been in these before, not on this profile. All the things you can do to speed up a system and make it perform, any system, can be any type of hardware. You can even do the same thing with your phone if you're on Android. Just get the crap off. And I find that helps a lot. So I think sometimes that when I read benchmark reports, I don't know, when they benchmark a system, it's kind of an apples to apples to oranges thing, because they're custom systems that have, they don't have a factory Windows install, they have a custom Windows install. So when you, like, I got this, the machine I'm on right now, this HP, when I got it at Best Buy, came with a factory Windows install. Here we go. It's looking a little tight too. Now Nice, is Nice part of Vive la France, or is this ProMods? It's looking a little evil down here. I'm going to be real careful, going to be real cool to get through here with no damage. So it's a factory install, which means as soon as I turn the machine on and as soon as it sees Wi-Fi, it immediately begins downloading like 2.5 gig of Windows 10 updates and fixes and service packs and everything else. And included in there, of course, is all the stuff for the Windows Store and all the crap. Bing. They're just not giving up on Bing. God bless them. They're going to make Bing happen no matter what it takes. So you got to deal with things like Bing and Microsoft Edge and crap that I will never use. If you do a custom install of Windows, you can sort of select that stuff as you're installing it. It's going to try to install it. It wants to install it, but you can opt out of a lot of it. Whereas with a factory install, you have to go in and manually take it out because it's already on there. So when they benchmark a system, I don't know if they're benchmarking how it came off the shelf, or if they're benchmarking against a custom Windows install, or if they took it off the shelf and then cleaned it up, got rid of all the bloatware. I don't know, but it's not a massive difference, but it's good for a small bump in performance. So as far as my systems go, I don't know if I'm getting, well, I guess I could benchmark and find out. But you see what I'm saying. I feel sometimes like my performance is, on all my machines, is a little bit north of what it should be. Right? Like, I'm getting results that, for those specs, that's pretty ambitious. And I don't know if that's just me or if that's a thing that everybody does. I have a feeling a lot of gamers do that, because we're all chasing FPS. It's not just me. It's not like I'm chasing FPS and every other gamer in the world is like, whatever. 50 is fine. I don't need 60. What would I do with 60 FPS? Right, we're here. Sun's coming up a little bit. We didn't have to drive in total darkness forever and ever. I don't know how I feel about trying to park in the rain. take a look back here. 3 choices, as always: in cab, third person, or just hit the button and have it auto park. I hate to auto park. That seems like a total cop out, but I've really been struggling with parking in cab lately, and particularly in the rain. So let's split the difference and just do it third person. I know, and I feel terrible about it because I have I've done it before, from hooking up to parking. I have done it before in cab. I just somewhere I lost my mojo. It's really frustrating for me, and I don't know if it's because of face tracking or if I just suck all of a sudden, but it's definitely frustrating. Oh, turning trailer. Oh, steerable trailer. Ah, nope. Yeah, even from third person, we're struggling. And when I say we, of course I mean me. So it was steering, and then it quit. It's going to be ugly, but I think we should. Yeah, get it in there. Straighten that out, just to somewhat redeem myself. I don't know, man. My own worst critic. Always have been. Not in a hateful way. Just have very high expectations of myself and everything around me. Alright. There we go. Mo better. Get this. Oh. Straighten out one more time. There we go. Right. Oh, game. Neutral. Lights. Wipers. Let's see how we did. Right. Made a little bit of money. We leveled up. Let's assign a point. Long distance. Still not worried about long distance. We're making mostly day trips, shorter trips. So let's go just-in-time delivery. Right. Folks, thanks so much for stopping back to join the Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of European Truck Simulator 2. And we'll see you soon. Take care now.